Good evening, beautiful people. Totally unrelated, but I think I'm going to shave my head again. That is not what this video is about, though. So, I started a new journal, guys. Ooh, how exciting! So far, my favorite thing that I have put in it is this. Love it. But anyway, I wanted to actually start this off by reading my journal entry from tonight. To be honest, starting this new journal has actually got me back into journaling. I haven't really been doing much journaling for the past months now, very, very rarely and sporadically. And over the past 3 days, I have been journaling every day or every night. And it has been just really helpful for me emotionally processing. And my journal entry tonight made me realize a lot about what I'm really going through internally right now. I'll just start off by reading it, okay guys? I let myself feel everything, even melancholy, lethargy, longing, and dissatisfaction. As I remind myself I am safe to do so, and it is not wrong for me to feel anything that rises up. I am compassionate towards myself and all the emotions that I feel. Even anger, disgust, fear, I let myself experience as it rises. I forgive myself and others, and I use these emotions as a compass and direction to go. Perhaps enjoying the fullness of life means also experiencing the fullness of emotions, without berating myself or putting myself down. I cannot lose myself here, in a place that heavily suppresses emotions. I will not become this. Perhaps this is a part of my growth here, a strengthening of my innermost self, solidifying my own foundation and making me unshakable, learning to stand up more confidently and consistently for what I believe in. So, if you have been watching my channel for a while, you know that one of the things I'm really big on is feeling your emotions. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Charisse. And while while over the recent months I have been definitely like allowing myself to feel my emotions, I think that the biggest addition, kind of more negative addition that I've added to that is definitely a little bit of berating myself for that. I realize that this is a big issue in a lot of places around putting people down for having mental health issues or denying even the place of mental health struggles. And in a lot of places, it's very normal to suppress or berate people or put people down for experiencing negative, heavy emotions other than rage. Rage actually seems to be one of the more societally acceptable emotions. Disgust and sadness and depression and dissatisfaction and loneliness are some of those negative emotions. I don't really believe in necessarily negative emotions. They're all emotions and they're all a part of our human experience and they're all meant to be felt. But those last ones that I listed tend to be a little bit more put down by a large amount of society. And I find that kind of where I'm at, and a lot of the people that I am around in my job as a bartender now, a lot of those emotions are actually emotions that are put down a lot, and mental health struggles are put down and denied the existence of. And it's a lot of the people that go in there are an older crowd, and it's a lot of it is very much so like, oh, well, when I was your age, we weren't allowed to have mental health problems and mental health days and get the fuck over it. And That's how I was raised too in a lot of ways, and I have become very much the opposite of that over the years of my own healing journey and learning to make peace with my emotions because if you know me, or even if you don't know me and you've been watching my channel, you probably know that I'm a very, very, very highly emotional person. And it was something that I suppressed and fought for a really long time. And then I just learned to embrace it. And it actually gave me the power of moving through emotions and transforming them more quickly than I was ever able to simply by allowing myself to feel and express them when they rose up. But anyway, guys, I find that like being in this environment, there have been quite a few things that have just like, oof, very incompatible to my energy, I feel like. And I am in a major period of growth. I am working full time. I just moved into my own first apartment, all on my own, um, like a few weeks ago, and it's really beautiful. And I'm creating all this financial and physical stability in my life. But at the end of the day, this is not where I want to be. And I have, I think, like, that's kind of what I've been suppressing a lot and trying to just be like, oh, but like, I'm happy here and I'm so grateful to be here. And while I am grateful to be here and I do experience times of happiness, it has actually been very, very difficult for me in certain aspects that this doesn't, it's not a very kindred place for me, if that makes any sense to you guys, but there have been a lot of things about this place that just have made me want to dip so fast and so heavily, and yet I am staying because I have certain things and goals that I would like to meet. I recently got another dog, and that was actually one of the things that I wanted to do before I left, but on top of that, I don't want to move back into my foreigner, guys, and I do want to move back into a vehicle, a home on wheels, but I am tired of living in that tiny of a space I have for 5 years, and now it's time for an upgrade the next time that I move into a vehicle. So I am looking forward to moving into more of a minibus or a shuttle bus the next time that I move into my car, which is honestly my main and biggest goal right now that I am saving towards and working towards. But for now, this is where I'm at, and I've been just kind of like in this like frustrated with myself for feeling dissatisfied, for wanting more, for not wanting to be here, for like I have all these beautiful things that are happening for me. I have an apartment, I have a job, I have a new dog, I have a nice bed, I have a closet, and I just don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be back on the road. I want to be back in a car home. I want the freedom. I want the just peace and space from people and like just and I've been feeling a lot of honestly disgust towards a lot of the energies around here, especially towards the gay community, the LGBT community, and towards around racism and just like a lot of things that I don't I want to say that I don't like it here, but that's not fully true. But maybe it is. Maybe I'm just trying to make excuses for all the reasons why I don't dislike it here. I think that I'm just over it. I think that I am just all out of gas in this area. And obviously, I still have the energy to deal with it. And I'm so grateful for my space, for this living space, because I don't know how I would be staying sane right now without it. I'm sure I would fucking find a way because I've constantly proved to myself how badass and capable I am all the fucking time. But anyway, guys, back to kind of like the main topic. I feel like I've actually been suppressing that dissatisfaction and that longing and that disgust, and I I think that there are a lot of people out here who are very energetically sensitive, so if I feel too much or if I think too much, like, people will literally treat me differently when I am around them because of it. And I have been guilty of this myself, absolutely. But it has made me feel more and more like I am not allowed to feel my own emotions without being punished for it. And I think that that is absolutely a childhood wound. Absolutely. And I have just been stepping back into my power, I guess. Honestly, I think moving into my own apartment has been really, really helpful in me breathing back into who I am and not just my environment and what's going on around me with everybody else and where everybody else stands and believes, because I am constantly surrounded by people in my job as a bartender, and most of them with very differing and opposing beliefs to what I have, which I'm used to. I grew up in a very religious family and now I am not at all. So it's not really a new concept. Most of the things that I deal with in the bar are not very new things, but they're also things that I worked hard towards moving away from in my life. And now it's like I'm back. Okay, shit. And tonight, writing that journal entry, I think, as well as talking to my very, very good friend, I'm so grateful that I have a close friend out here. She is originally the person who invited me out here to stay on the homestead, and it didn't work out on the homestead, but we are still very, very good friends. But I was talking to her about a lot of stuff today, and how one of my customers had told me, like, you just gotta let stuff roll off. And I'm like, no, no. First of all, as a woman, I've gone my whole entire life letting stuff just roll off of me and not speaking up for myself and for what I believe in. And I am done with that. She's like, well, they're not going to change. I don't care. It's not about the other person changing. It's about me speaking up for myself. And I think that that is also seems to be a little bit of something in this area. Is like views towards women and about women. And I have just been lately, I think I would define it as kind of experiencing this like female rage um towards all these fucking different things, and especially for this specific area where it has just felt so amplified with a lot of the stuff that I've been dealing with out here. And I have actually started just speaking up more. And as fucking annoying as it can be sometimes to be around certain energies and conversations, it has definitely been solidifying my own personal beliefs. And I feel like this is because I have so many frustrations about being here, guys. I actually made a video about it, all the reasons why I didn't want to be here, and all my frustrations about this place and my job and all of it. And I did not post it because I felt like it was just too overwhelmingly negative. But I can see all of these negatives and I still find the silver lining, though. I have to see that silver lining of I have already changed so much in the short time that I have been in this job, in this place, in this community. And it's not a changing of like, oh, I'm becoming like the people around me or I'm becoming like this new place. No, it's been like a Charisse is stepping even further into her power. Charisse is speaking out even more. Charisse is putting up with a lot less shit and cutting off a lot more people. I feel like you often hear like people in their 50s and 60s plus talking about how the older you get, the less you give a fuck about keeping people in your life that don't bring you peace. I'm 30 years old and that's where I'm at. Which I'm grateful for that I didn't have to wait that long to figure that part out. I guess I've been doing that for quite a while. But the person that I've been turning into is the type of person that takes no shit. And I think that I needed that. Because as much as I am quite outspoken on my channel, I feel like I have moved very, very far away from just being a people pleaser. But I think that there has still been this element of that has still been a little bit toxic to myself and what I believe in and what I stand by. And still a little bit of that chameleon aspect, which I don't think that it's necessarily a negative thing to have a chameleon personality. But when you are constantly sacrificing yourself to become your environment to keep yourself safe, like I did for a long time, sometimes you reach a point where it's time for a change. And I don't think, I mean, I think that you can absolutely change that overnight, possibly. I think that this is something that I've been changing progressively over the years. And honestly, I think that where I'm at now, if I'm chameleoning to this environment, you can say goodbye, Charisse, because I would not be myself anymore. I would be a completely different person in a way that I don't like. It's literally forcing me to give up that part of myself. It's basically forcing me to be myself to the most fullest and extreme degree. And that doesn't mean I'm not like a shitty person underneath that chameleon and that people pleasing. I'm still this extremely loving, kind-hearted person, but I don't put up with shit anymore. And I don't need people in my life that don't make me feel good inside to have them be there. As well as many other aspects that it's just I'm learning more and more and more and more that I am more. That I'm more than I thought I was, and I think that we all go through this, guys. We're constantly growing and changing, and I think that a lot of the older community can just like honestly at times be very demeaning towards younger people and their growth patterns. And like even with like in me taking this stability break from my more nomadic, free spirited form of living, people are just like, oh yeah, that's called growing up. And I'm like, is it though? Is it? Is growing up to you mean choosing a life that you don't like and settling for unsatisfying relationships that you live in for a really long time? Because honestly, it kind of looks like that when people tell me that I'm growing up because of the choices that I'm making right now to not live on the road anymore. I kind of feel like it's bullshit because some of the most beautiful older people that I met live on the road, live in their vehicles. What about them? Did they just all of a sudden grow down because they decided to choose that form of alternative living? Absolutely not. I think that growing up is more of an internal thing rather than just an external thing because there are kids who become millionaires. And there are 70, 60 year olds that become millionaires. Is that kid just all of a sudden a grown up? Is that 7 year old finally a grown up because now he's reached a certain level of societally acceptable success? Is that what growing up means? I think to society that is what growing up means. It means to reach a certain level of societally acceptable success. If you are living a form of living that is accepted by society, the wider grasp of society, you're growing up. Well, I have a surprise for you guys. This isn't going to be a surprise for many. My goal is not to grow up. My goal is actually to become more and more in touch with my inner child. And mature? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I refuse to give up the things that bring me joy in the name of growing up. I refuse to just completely give up a lifestyle that I love in the name of growing up. That to me is bullshit. This is just one of the many things of this area, and I believe that it extends far beyond this area, that I have just become, oh, I don't, like, almost angry. I almost get angry being surrounded by it all the time. Constant opinions from everybody that barely knows me about who I am and my life and what I need to do and the choices that I need to make and what's right and what's wrong, while I sit there and I listen to it all and I don't give my opinion. A lot of the time, that's kind of how it started, and now it's getting more and more of me actually giving my opinion. Not all the time, though, because there are certain times when I'm like, I don't want to just become a massive bitch. I think that there is a certain level of brutal honesty. I think that I would still like to speak it compassionately to others as possible. So I think that I'm like learning how to transform, like, hey, I'm not putting up with that, into a compassionate way of speaking it. But I guess sometimes just brutal honesty and looking sounding like a bitch is not the worst. I'm sure there are plenty of people who think I'm a bitch because my portrayal of word vomit did not necessarily come out in the nicest manner, but like I've said in videos before, you don't always have to be a nice purpose. A nice purpose? You don't a nice porpoise. You can be a mean porpoise. You don't always have to be a nice person. Honestly, when people are nice all the time, and I do absolutely believe in killing with kindness sometimes, guys. I really do love that shit. Usually when I'm killing with kindness, though, it's actually genuine. Sometimes, though, when people are nice all the time, it's creepy, and it just comes off as, like, very fake and distrusting, and no, I don't wanna be nice all the time. So, I feel like this job and being in this environment is actually successfully teaching me how to be a little bit more of a bitch, which, honestly, guys, like, I think I needed that. I think I needed just a little bit. I think I just need a little bit more of bitchiness in my life to truly step into, like, the funnest, um, most self-empowered, confident version of my character of Charisse. There you go, guys. I'm gonna end this video. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and wow, this is just a very cut off end. Well, I guess it goes with the vibe of the video. Alright, guys. Well, I love you, and I believe in you, and I hope that you have an absolutely and amazing and beautiful, absolutely, absolutely amazing and beautiful day. Okay, I love you. Bye.